We are at St. Martin's Place, 2603 Martin Luther King Boulevard, Dallas, Texas. We are here for the purpose of doing a lecture series and luncheon.
And it's a project that has been initiated by the foundation of Alpha Epsilon Boule, which is one of the chapters, one of the 13 chapters that's within the Western region. The Alpha Epsilon Boule has created a foundation which is headed by James Mitchell.
I'm involved in this organization because I want to have an impact on the community. And this organization is committed to have an impact on the community through scholarships, through mentoring efforts, through other social action programs.
I'm here today because I was invited by Mr. James Mitchell, my mentor, who invited me to witness Dr. Prince, who's a black influential person in the Dallas community.
I am Dr. Robert Prince. I am a native of Dallas, Texas. I am a longtime member of the Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. I was born in Dallas, Texas, July the 22nd, 1930, which makes me a Depression baby. I am as Dallas as Pegasus, the horse that flies over the canyon from the Mobile building. I'm also as Dallas as Fair Park.
Thank you and welcome to this first installment of the Boule Lecture. I'm Abdul Dasunmu and I will be your moderator for the afternoon.
I'm a recent graduate of the School for the Talented and Gifted at Townview here in Dallas. In September, I will be attending the University of Chicago, where I plan to study political science. Following that, I hope to attend law school, where I'll focus on constitutional law and ultimately, one day, to run for public office.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Then Senator Obama began his seminal speech on race in America with those words. Of course, they originally derive from a time in American history when prejudice and misunderstanding called the nation's fidelity to the spirit behind the words into question. The fact that Senator Obama went on to be elected president makes clear that we've come a long way since then. But it doesn't serve posterity if we simply acknowledge how far we've come without acknowledging how we've come thus far. Today's event is aimed at helping us put the more perfect America that we enjoy today into its proper context as the culmination of a long effort by men and women who refuse to settle for the world as it is, instead choosing to struggle for and fight for the world as it should be. As you'll learn today, many of those men and women were ordinary people whose names would never make it into the textbooks. I marvel at how many of them were not much older than the scholars in this room. As Obama himself noted when his relative youth was made subject to demagoguery, Dr. King was 26 when he spearheaded the Montgomery bus boycott, 1 year older than John Lewis was when he marched for voting rights across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Scholars, if we come away with anything, I hope we come away with a sense of civic responsibility, for it, manifested in the lives of King and Lewis and Dr. Prince and so many others, more than anything else, paved the way for our more perfect union.
I'm sure many of you have already read this book by Michael Phillips. And this gives a very good view. It's well written, and it gives a good view of Dallas history, especially from political of political vantage. This is my book, A History of Dallas from a Different Perspective. Now, why did I, as a busy obstetrician and gynecologist, take time to try to write this book? I grew up in my great-grandfather's house. He was a pioneer here and businessman here in Dallas. Doc Rowan, D-O-C-K spell. And his son and other old-timers, some who had lived through, most of them had lived through Reconstruction days, would sit outside in the summertime and in a circle, and until it was cool enough to go into the house and tell stories about things that had happened in Dallas. As a teenager, when I worked in the Black Library on Thomas Avenue, I read every history that was written about Dallas. I never saw anything good in there about African Americans. The only things that were written about African Americans were what a burden we were, and about things that would highlight our stupidity and viciousness, especially viciousness towards each other. But it never told the story of the African American pioneers in Dallas, the educators, the people that I knew and came in contact with. I was determined to tell this story.